Welcome to the 2020 Economic Recession and Preparation channel. I'm your host, Tony. Thank you for joining me on this Friday, November 22nd, 2019. We are approaching the Thanksgiving holidays, and as you know, there is a lot going on with the economy. The Dow Jones is barely ticking up about 50 points now as we speak. But the third quarter earnings came in for a lot of companies, and they have disappointed drastically. Plug Power, the fuel cell leader in the third quarter, produces third quarter earnings that disappointed investors. So we have another company here producing a mixed bag of negative results. The company did report revenue of $59.2 million. However, shares of the stock fell 7%. And with 2019 winding down, investors wanted to see that Plug Power was well on its way to meeting its guidance for the year, but the numbers did not point in that direction. Okay, they reported a decrease in earnings from the previous year, and the CEO Andy Marsh, the CEO of Plug Power, still remains confident that he's able to turn things around. But I don't think so, because we have Ford also disappointing with third quarter earnings, disappointing results. Ford Motor Company, they're in a world of trouble. Their revenue declined 2% during the third quarter compared to the previous year. And analysts are very disappointed. They adjusted their shares per earning to only 26 cents earnings per share now, compared to 34 cents earnings per share that was expected. Ford stock declined on news of the lower full-year guidance. Ford continues to definitely show red flags for investors and for other companies. They're hoping on a rate cut that the Fed's meeting in December 10th and 11th, but the Fed is now saying that they may not cut rates. They may leave things unchanged, which is going to result in a fourth quarter of continued slow growth, or sluggish growth to say the least. Pinterest, another one of these technology stocks. Let's look at this. Pinterest stock tanks 21% on revenue miss and disappointing forecast, according to CNBC.com. So we have Pinterest, a social media technology mogul giant. As you know, it went IPO in April of this year, but has lost almost 1/3 of its value since peaking in August. What does it produce? It's just basically a picture board, or online picture board. What does it manufacture? These companies, it's gonna catch up with them, as you can see, because the manufacturing sector, the PMI index, is down for the fourth straight month as we head into December here. So do not look for any bright news from them as well. We have, of course, Boeing and Caterpillar reporting disappointing third quarter earnings. However, Boeing has a bright spot because they're saying that the 737 MAX could be available for purchase and backup FAA certification back as soon as March 2020. Now, whether or not consumers want to ride on the 737 MAX, which Southwest Airlines apparently uses a lot of them in service, so they've grounded them, of course, now, but they're saying in March 2020 they could be back in the service. So investors have that heap of news to deal with. And also, the job market has been holding steady, but the thing with the job market is that those who have jobs have not experienced a wage increase. Wages have not increased for September, October, or November, according to the U.S. economic data at a glance. So wages are stagnant. Jobs are not jobs are not growing in the right areas. It's only in the retail and service sector. Nothing substantial in healthcare. Nothing substantial in manufacturing. So how are we going to sustain this economic booming economy that everybody's talking about when we have all these issues at hand, let alone the trade war? So, and there's no phase one trade deal, by the way. As you know, we've been telling you that for the last couple of months here on this channel, that there will not be a trade deal this year, probably not even next year. But, we're going to try to keep optimistic, because the only bright spot we have now in the whole thing is that the housing market has not yet collapsed yet. And many people are looking forward to that, to pick up bargain basement deals. But the housing market has not collapsed yet. And so because of that, we have some opportunity to be able to save your money, be able to pay down debt, and be able to try to get into hard tangible assets, land, not real estate, land. If you can purchase a property that's distressed in land, or something that's abandoned, or something that's on sale, especially a property that has water, if you're in the country, some type of lake or pond or a spring, a stream, anything that will help you when things are going to be good and chaotic here in the United States. Now, mind you, there's civil disobedience in Hong Kong, there's civil disobedience in Bolivia, Chile, Argentina, Greece, Spain, so these things are going to take its toll on worldwide economy, and that's the problem. The U.S. is dealing with a worldwide global recession, not just in the homeland, and so it's going to be something that we've never seen before, because the global economy is slowing, the U.S. economy is slowing, and nobody has any money because we have a whole pile of debt. The debt now stands at $24 trillion. Kohl's just released earnings. The retail sector, they're plunging. Kohl's, they miss earnings, okay? Home Depot stock falls after earnings report disappoint. Yeah, people are not repairing their homes and not building as much because they know that this economy is on borrowed time, okay? And thank God we are on borrowed time, because that gives us more time to prepare. So we need to be able to cut ourselves. We need to be able to cut our budget down to where it can be sustainable. Now, this Christmas season, I expect retail earnings to disappoint. This fourth quarter retail earnings to disappoint. The average person is going to have an okay Christmas. Children, everybody, family should have an okay Christmas. However, the debt toll and the credit card debt is still looming over a lot of families' heads, and that's okay, but as long as you're paying them down. So the consumer is 2/3 of the U.S. economy, but the consumer is starting to see storm clouds on the horizon. The storm clouds of debt, the storm clouds of interest rates creeping up on these credit cards at 24, 25, 26%, even with good credit. And so that's going to weigh down the consumer, which is 2/3 of the U.S. economy is based on consumer spending. So the consumer is going to get tapped out around the middle of 2020 into the just past election time 2020. And that's going to be the trigger of everything snowballing, because at the same time consumers get tapped out, the banks are going to tighten up on credit lending. Regardless of people's credit score, they're going to tighten up on credit because they have a liquidity problem. And that's why we have the repo thing. As you know, the feds were injecting as much as $80 billion overnight repo loans to be paid back the next day into banks. You remember that until November 12th, but now it's been extended to the end of the year. So that's effectively quantitative easing. They don't want to say it like that, but that's what it is, okay? So, but now for consumers next year, we're going to face a problem when we can't get credit for business credit or personal credit. And that's going to be tightening in the middle of 2020, I would say, between June 2020 and just past the elections in October 2020. And that's going to cause a snowballing effect, because once credit tightens and the economy is really going to slow down to 0% GDP growth. And in 2021, that's when we're going to enter the Great Recession, or depression. And like I said, this next recession depression is going to be different than the ones you've seen in the past, because this one is we're looking at a long-term thing here, maybe 4 or 5 years or longer, being in a no-growth, deflationary depression recession. So that's what we're looking forward to. Continue to prepare. Continue to check out books in the library or online about how to grow a sustainable garden. Things like potatoes that have a hardiness, potatoes, beans, peppers, things with that is going to sustain you. Water. Make sure you're stocking up on brown rice. Okay, 5-10 pound bags. Things that you can, medicines for your family. Little things that you need. Toiletries are going to be essential. Like, not just toilet paper, but I'm talking about contact lens solution. I'm talking about things like shaving cream, maxi pads for women. Things, just things that we use every day that is going to become in short supply as all of these things come to a halt. Okay, because remember, we don't manufacture anything in the U.S. states anymore. We consume half of the world's products, but we don't manufacture half of the world's products. And so that's what we're facing. Continue to stay diligent. We're going to continue to keep you informed and prepared on this channel, and share this video with most people you know, and continue to subscribe, because they're suppressing videos like this because they don't want the truth to get out. And understandable, because the job of the government is to keep everyone in order and in an orderly fashion, okay? But we need to be aware of what's going on behind the scenes. And so I'm here to inform you. Thank you very much for joining me. Have a great day. I'll talk to you very soon.